Hi, nice to see you.
Hi. Okay, I love your hat, by the way.
Oh, thank you. No signal.
Okay, one sec.
No
I need
problem.
to
I'll
fix this
wait.
camera. 1 second. Eva. Okay. Yeah, it's
Okay.
okay. I'm going to just quickly check this camera. Okay, so we're over here now. This isn't as good, unfortunately, but at least you can still see me, right?
Yes, I see you very well and hear you very well.
Okay.
And but I don't see your guitars now.
Oh no. Oh,
No,
we'll have to put it there.
the background is not the same. No problem. Okay.
Okay. No,
You are the
no,
main
no. We
person.
should do it. We should do it. We should do it.
Is this guitar that you put behind you a special one? Why did you choose the white guitar to put behind you?
Well, this is a very special guitar, and I wanted a guitar like this for most of my life, and it was only about 10 years ago when I decided that it was time. I never felt like I deserved one because it was a very special guitar, a very expensive guitar, and I was always before I felt like, oh, I can't justify spending that much money on a guitar. And finally I got to the point where I thought, this is what I'm doing with my life, and this is important to me, and it's a great guitar, and it's lasted me for a very long time. So her name is Zarazinha.
Do you play on concerts with it, or it is only for studio recording?
It's been used in studio, and it's been used live and in some music videos as well.
Where do I find you now? Where are you now? Are you
I
home?
am in I'm in the UK. I'm in Liverpool in the UK, which is my hometown. Well, it's not my hometown, it's where I live. My original town is Bristol, which is in the southwest of England.
What do you remember? What do you see in Bulgaria? Have you seen something interesting that you remember that you like or you don't like? How did you see Bulgaria these two times you've come here?
Oh, I remember one time we played on the beach,
Yes,
um, and I think that might have been Spirit of Burgas.
yes.
That was very beautiful. I remember that, and actually being on the beach for the show was very strange, but very good. And then the last time was Hills of Rock, and I remember everybody being very nice with the local promoters and everybody, and also that we watched the band Placebo play. They were on the stage, and we watched from the side of the stage, and that was a great honor to do that.
This is not the best place you can visit in Sofia, the airport.
No, no. And sometimes that's what happens with touring is that it's work. So you say, hey, I'm going to Tokyo, but really all you see is a venue and an airport and a hotel, and then you go home again. Or whether it be Sophia or Tokyo or Dublin or whatever it is, and you don't really get to experience the
Yes.
town, you just get to experience the venue.
I hope this time you'll come for more than 1 or 2 days and you'll have a little bit time to see our capital. What to expect from the upcoming concert?
We don't decide the set list until quite close to the show, but if the last few shows that we've done are anything to go by, then the set list will be a good balance of the recorded work from the back catalogue and the new songs that we've written over the course of the last 5, 6 years.
Yes, I know that maybe you're not the right person to ask, but you're so many years in the band that maybe you can ask me. But why did you decide not to release your new work?
Why do people why do bands record albums? So they record the work and then they release the work so that people can hear the work, and then people come to the shows. That's why many bands will do it. There are other reasons. We don't have to do that because we already have recorded material that has been released and that people really like, and they like the live shows as well. So people keep coming to see us. Recording an album is a very, very huge commitment in terms of money, time, emotions. Think of all the politics involved of the songwriting and the recording and releasing, deciding on the artwork, which song's going to be the videos. It's a lot of time and a lot of work. Whereas we can just write the songs and play them live and everything stays happy. So yeah, I think there is something to be said, definitely, for recording work. I think it acts as a good musical diary for you as a musician to look back and go, I recorded this song in 1988 or 2007 or 2012, and it was a snapshot of who I was at that time, now committed to vinyl or CD, so I can always revisit it and always see those feelings. But we're very lucky that we don't have to record or release anything for people to still come and see us play live.
Are you interested to hear some of your Bulgarian colleagues?
I guess if there's the opportunity to listen to these other bands, that would be great. Also, our touring schedule can be quite tight on the day, and it can be quite impractical to spend more time around in the festival site. So I'm hopeful that we'll get time to actually experience some of these other bands and witness some of the local talent too.
Yes, I'm interested whether you're interested in new music, new bands, something that is not so popular in the world. Whether do you listen to such local small bands, and whether you find gems between them sometimes?
Yeah, in fact, example, I was at a train station a few months ago and I got talking to two people on the platform, two young people on the platform, and they had a band, and I then went and listened to their band and I liked it, and I sent them this email about why I liked it and what I thought was good, and they were super happy. So it's nice to discover things very spontaneously and organically like that.
You're part of a lot of other music projects. Can you describe the main difference in going on stage with Sister of Mercy and your other bands?
The difference is that with the other bands that I play with, there's generally more a sense of you kind of run onto the stage and it's like, yeah, guys, let's rock. Okay, everybody, see your hands in the air, yeah. Whereas with the Sisters of Mercy, it's a lot more mysterious and enigmatic, and you sort of slide onto the stage and half lit, half in the darkness, and you start, it's a very different aesthetic that I think is more about restraint and atmosphere than vibing people and like, hey guys, get your hands in the air, we're gonna rock, that sort of thing.
Yes, and do you need to be a little like an actor to act with Sister of Mercy on one hand and with, for example, Diamond Black on the other hand, 1 month with one band, the other month with another band?
It's a very good question. And when you ask a musician, when you're on stage, are you performing a different persona, or are you the most authentically yourself that you ever are? You get some quite different answers. Some people will say, I've created a character for the stage. Some people will say, when I'm on the stage, I truly feel alive. That's the place when I can finally be myself. And there's everything in between. For me, it's a combination of those things. I think I'll go onto the stage with a sense of persona, but there will be moments where I'm so connected to the music that I feel more like myself than I've ever felt like. And I connect with a past self at the same time. I remember a few nights ago, we played in Glasgow and I was playing the guitar and really rocking. And I remember, wow, this reminds me of being a teenager. This is the same feeling. I've connected with a past version of myself in this moment, which is very, very real. So I'd say it's both.
It's so interesting what happens in your head during these 2 hours when you're on stage. But I'm sure that there is no one that can explain it in full, what happens in an artist's head when he's on stage.
Yeah, you are correct. Yeah.
Yes, but with all these projects, they are so different, genre. They're in different genres. How do you cope with that, like a musician?
Sometimes you can, certainly I can feel a bit fragmented in terms of what is my musical identity. Particularly as a lot of musical identity can be crossed over with the things that you wear and what you look like on the stage as well. Generally, all the bands I've ever played in have been rock bands or alternative bands or metal bands. So there's always been that crossover in the way that I dress and the way that I look and the way that I feel. It's alternative music. But there have been times where I've felt, oh, man, I wish I was doing something that was more punk or something that was more metal or something that was more rock or whatever. And having that missing the thing that you're not doing thing can sometimes be an issue. But I think if you just commit to whatever it is you're doing at that time and really throw yourself into it, then that gives you the freedom to explore different subgenres of alternative music.
All this music is in you. I believe that all this music is inside of you. And how much music, how much more music there is inside of you?
There is a project that's been with me only in my mind for maybe 10 years, which I hope at one point to do, which is something that is very based on vocal harmony, maybe with 3 or 4 people in the band who are all excellent singers. And the band is built around this use of vocal harmony, but still while having rock riffs and guitars at the same time. And that's something that I think one day I would love to really explore.
I listened to your new single with Diamond Black. I talk about Falling to the Silence. Can you tell me what stays behind it? Because I think the story is very important, not only interesting.
The story of the song is written about, essentially it's written about isolation that can come through addiction, alcoholism, and feeling like very alienated and disconnected from everybody around you. And I have experienced some of these things myself. I am now almost 4 years sober. I had a problem with alcohol before, and this is a song that talks about those difficult times. And there are, on the new record, again, there are a couple of songs that talk again about these experiences. One is very specific, is written about the very last night that I ever drank alcohol and the reason why I stopped drinking alcohol finally. And it's a song called Where the Night Crawls. And I think it's one of my favorite songs on the record. And I'm really excited to finally get that out. But yeah, that's what Fall into the Silence was written about, the isolation and the alienation that comes along with an addiction spiral. But the positive message of the song is to try and connect with people around us and speak to others and find a way out through that, being able to be vocal about our challenges and show some vulnerability, the power of vulnerability to speak out and find people around us.
How much time did you need to start speaking freely for this, to start to write this song, to give it to the world?
I think it was. I always could have released it without actually talking about the meaning. But part of my sobriety journey was that realizing that talking about these things and about sobriety and coming and saying I have an alcohol, or I did have an alcohol problem, or I still have one. I don't drink, but maybe I still feel like that's in there. That demon is still in there. It was something that was part of the recovery journey, was to be able to be culpable and accountable and speak publicly about it. Really helped me to reinforce my desire and commitment to sobriety, was acting as a spokesperson of, this is what I experienced, this is how it affected me negatively, and here's how I found a way out of it, and here's some advice if you want to try and do the same. And I've done a number of podcasts about it, and that I'm very proud of, talking about the journey from alcoholism into sobriety.
Yes, but do you do this only as part of your journey, or you really believe that people that like your music and have the same problem you can help them with this music?
But initially, it started with the previous material. It started as this is my way of expressing something that I'm experiencing. It was only when we started to play the songs live and I started to talk between the songs about the meaning of the songs that I realized how powerful it could be to try and use music as a way of helping people to talk about it themselves and to talk to people around them. And what I found was at the end of some of those shows, we would have people come and speak to us who had never seen us before, but would say, what you said after that song really meant something to me. And the meaning of this other song really helped me. Sometimes people even crying. This would be quite common. People would come to us, we'd never met them before, and they would be crying because they said, what you said in that song really meant something to me. And I think that's just such an amazing, amazing thing. If ever you want to define success, I think it's being able to have a connection with people on that kind of level with the thing that you've created is amazing.
When did you understand that you have a problem, and how?
I think it can be quite a gradual process, and a lot of from the stories I've heard in my recovery of listening to other people's stories, there's a lot of denial that goes on of I can stop when I want to. I'm going to just try doing only drink on the weekend, or I'll only have this many drinks, or I'll only drink on special occasions, or I will only drink after 6 o'clock, or all these things. That I tried all of these things. I tried making contracts with people that said, I'm only going to have this many drinks this week. I've signed a contract with this person. And these contracts would always get broken because when you started to get drunk, I started to get drunk, my mind shifted and my sense of responsibility changed. So there were a number of things that happened in 2021, which was the last year that I drank, that were quite detrimental, but none of them were bad enough for me to stop because I was the only victim. And I think that's something that happens with addiction, is that people can have addiction because they don't really care for themselves that much and they don't really have much compassion for themselves. The thing that really made me stop in the end was that my drinking affected somebody else's well-being. Essentially what happened, long story short, was that I was with a partner at the time and she was trying to get into the apartment that we were in, but I was too drunk. I passed out. I couldn't let her in. So she was locked outside and she wandered off and I didn't see her for 24 hours. And it was terrifying because I thought anything could have happened. And that was the thing that made me stop, because I realized this drinking is not just about my well-being, it's about other people now. And that was it. I never drank again. So that was the moment where I realized that people's well-being is putting into jeopardy because of this addiction.
Yes. Is your drinking was part of this rock and roll way of life that we read about, talk about?
It started that way. I think it was, to begin with, drinking for me was a way, it was connected with music. We used to go out to the nightclubs and that was part of the experience, was you'd drink and you'd listen to music. It was the escape. It was the way to escape from whatever anxieties and troubles you were having in your everyday life. So the two things connected. And then as time went on, I became more and more reliant on this feeling of escaping through the alcohol, to the point where I was no longer socializing with people. I was just drinking on my own. And that's the sign that you've definitely disconnected from reality, that you're not even using it as a socialization tool anymore. It's just to retreat from reality. So it definitely started as, oh, that's what we do. We're in bands, rock and roll. But by the end, it really wasn't very rock and roll at all.
Fall into Silence is not the only single that you write about this theme. When to expect another songs and the album?
We're still recording it at the moment, so I would predict that the release of the album will be next year, with some singles preceding it. But there's definitely some songs on there, and as I said, there's one song on there that is specifically about the very last night that I stopped to drink.
And it will be a single?
I think it could be. It wasn't the intention at the start, but it turns out that it's turning into a really, really strong song, we think. So let's see.
Actually, how did you start with music when you were a kid?
I was influenced by an uncle of mine who's only 8 years older than me. So imagine I'm 8 years old, he's 16, so cool, and he's into all these rock bands, and I looked up to him so much. So, and it wasn't just the bands that he liked that I wanted to copy. It was the way he dressed, it was the books he read, the games he played, the movies he watched. I wanted to be just like him. So that was a really strong influence, and I'm very grateful to him for having such a strong influence on me. And then he started playing guitar, I started playing guitar, and we just went from there, really.
Which is the moment or event that made you the person you are now?
I think it's got to be that time, the day I stopped drinking, because so many changes happened after that. Through sobriety, I realized, why was I drinking? Nobody drinks because to that excess because they like the taste of alcohol. They drink because they are escaping something, and it was anxiety. I realized I had so much anxiety in my life that alcohol would make that anxiety voice just be quiet for a while. So it then made me realize, well, what do I need to do to stop this anxiety that isn't drinking alcohol? And that led to reading about many things, learning many things, trying many things, meditation, so many interesting, cool stuff that I've discovered in the last few years that has really made me who I am now.
Do you like who are you now?
Yeah, I think this is the best place I've ever been.
Okay, thank you for your time. It was
You're welcome.
Interesting conversation, and I hope to see you live in September.
Thank you. And
here.
Really great questions. Thank you.
Thank you to be so honest. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.